Before we dive into this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into it. My name is Melissa, I'm 26, and I honestly thought I had dating all figured out until everything completely blew up in my face. What hurts the most is that I still don't believe I was really the one at fault. I replay everything in my mind, over and over, like a film stuck on repeat. I go back to the words I said, the choices I made, the moments where maybe I could have acted differently. I had been single for nearly 2 years after my last serious relationship ended badly. And by single, I don't mean lonely or desperate. I was living my life, going out, meeting people, having fun, and refusing to waste my energy on anyone who didn't deserve it. I had learned the hard way that rushing into commitments only led to disappointment and wasted time. Then came Ethan. I met him at a housewarming party my friend Clara was hosting. The first thing that stood out about him was how different he seemed from the usual crowd. While everyone else was drinking too much and acting wild, Ethan was calm, collected, actually engaging in real conversations. He had this steady, grounded energy that was rare after all the immature men I'd been dealing with. That night, we talked for hours about everything: our jobs, our families, the places we'd traveled, even the little quirks about life that most people brush off. He made me laugh without forcing it, and when I spoke, he actually listened. He'd ask thoughtful questions, as if he truly cared about what I had to say. By the time the night ended, I wasn't just attracted to him, I was intrigued. When he asked for my number, I gave it to him right away. Normally, I made men work harder for it, but with Ethan, I wanted to be upfront. He texted me the next day, neither too eager nor too distant, just perfectly balanced. A few days later, we had our first coffee date, and it only confirmed what I felt. 3 hours passed like nothing, no awkward silences, just easy conversation. He was respectful, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in me as a person, not just trying to get me into bed. When he walked me to my car, he didn't push for a kiss or try to come up. He simply said he'd had a great time and wanted to see me again. That's when I made my decision. Ethan wasn't just casual fling material, he was relationship material. Maybe even the kind of man I could see a real future with. And because of that, I told myself I needed to do things differently this time. I knew from past experience that men don't value what comes to eyes. Too many times, I'd given in quickly, only to end up discarded as if I'd never mattered. With Ethan, I wanted to build something stronger. So, I made a plan. I would take it slow, make him wait, make him prove that I was worth more than just another hookup. I wanted to be the woman he respected, the one he proudly introduced to his friends and family, the one he couldn't imagine losing. Our second date was dinner at a nice little spot downtown. He opened doors for me, pulled out my chair, asked about my day. It felt like something real was beginning. When he dropped me off afterward, I could see he wanted to come in, but I told him I preferred to take things slow because I truly liked him. For a second, he looked a little disappointed, but then he nodded and said he respected that. He kissed me goodnight on my doorstep, a soft, sweet kiss that lingered in my mind as I watched him drive away. I felt confident. My plan was working. Over the next few weeks, our routine fell into place. He picked me up for dates, texted me good morning, remembered little details I'd mentioned, even called just to hear my voice. My friends noticed how attentive he was. After about a month, he began hinting at wanting to make things official. Nothing pushy, just small comments about the future, about introducing me to people in his life. I could see he was getting invested, exactly as I'd hoped. The physical tension between us grew stronger, and though I sometimes felt tempted to give in, I reminded myself of the bigger picture. The longer I waited, the more he would value me when the time finally came. At least, that's what I believed. But while I was holding back with Ethan, I wasn't exactly celibate. I still had a few casual flings hanging around men like Derek, who had been my on-and-off hookup for months. Nothing serious, nothing emotional, just convenient. I justified it by telling myself Ethan and I weren't official yet. Technically, I wasn't cheating. He thought I was just being cautious, saving intimacy, because I cared so much. And in a way, I was. But I also wasn't denying myself what I wanted when he wasn't around. 2 months in, Ethan was deeply invested. He was leaving little things at my apartment, planning weekend getaways, talking about meeting each other's families. I felt like everything was going exactly as I'd intended. Then came the night it all fell apart. Ethan invited me over for dinner at his place. He had opened a special bottle of wine, cleaned his apartment spotless. It felt like the setup for something important. I suspected he might ask me to be his girlfriend that night. Everything was perfect. The food, the conversation, the soft glow of the kitchen lights. But then, somehow, we drifted into a conversation about past relationships. It started lighthearted, him sharing funny stories about old girlfriends, me opening up about my past. Maybe it was the wine, maybe it was how comfortable I felt, but I let myself be more honest than usual. When he asked how I had managed being single for so long, I admitted I'd had casual arrangements here and there. I thought it was harmless honesty, a small detail. But the second the words left my mouth, I saw his expression change. He asked if those arrangements had happened recently. I froze. I could have lied, but I didn't. I admitted that yes, some of them had overlapped with the time he and I had been seeing each other. But, I insisted, it didn't matter, because he and I weren't exclusive yet. That was the moment everything shifted. Ethan's disappointment was written all over his face. He told me he couldn't understand why I had been telling him for months that I wanted to go slow with him because I cared, yet I had no problem being physical with other men in the meantime. I tried to explain that what I had with him was emotional and real, that's why I wanted to protect it. Those other guys had been meaningless. But my words only seemed to make things worse. When I tried to bridge the gap by telling him, maybe we waited long enough and I was finally ready, he stepped back from me. His face hardened. Now you're ready. After this conversation, that's supposed to convince me, he said flatly. He didn't believe me. He thought I was only offering intimacy because I'd been caught. That night ended with him asking me to leave. For days, I tried to reach out. I sent texts, made calls, even showed up at his place once, begging him to talk. But Ethan had already made up his mind. 3.5 months of careful effort all undone by a single conversation. He told me, gently but firmly, that while he respected my choices, he couldn't be with someone who thought that way. It's been almost a year since then, and I'm still angry at how it all turned out, because in my eyes, I didn't do anything wrong. I was honest when he asked. I wasn't exclusive with him yet, and still, somehow, I ended up the villain. Now, Ethan is married to a woman he met not long after me. People say he's happier, that he finally found the one. And all I can think is, I was building something real with him, but he couldn't handle the truth. He chose someone else because she fit the fantasy better. The truth is, I've changed since Ethan. I'm harder now, more guarded. I don't share as much of myself anymore, because apparently men don't want honesty, they want illusions. Next time, I won't tell the whole story of my past. Not because I'm ashamed, but because men like Ethan have proven they can't handle it. I know what I bring to the table, and the next man who wants me will have to earn it.